tell us, who was Hedy Lamarr?
Hedy Lamarr was a Jewish child who was born in Austria in the shadow of the First World War. And then she became extraordinarily beautiful when she was about, say 10, 11 years old. And that kind of swept her away. She became an actress, and she flees to the United States and convinces Louis B. Mayer to make her his next great star on the silver screen. So she becomes, huge, the Angelina Jolie of her day. In all of these films with Spencer Tracy, Clark Gable, Jimmy Stewart.
That was the public Hedy Lamarr, but it was the private, unexpected Lamarr who director Alexandra Dean found far more compelling.
Inventing was her hobby. She not only had a complete inventing table set up in her house, but Howard Hughes gave her a small version of the set of equipment, which she had in the trailer where she stayed in between takes in her motion pictures.
We don't know everything that Hedy invented, but we know that during the Second World War, she teamed up first with Howard Hughes, who was a great inventor himself. He was trying to create the fastest airplane in the world at that time.
I thought the airplane was too slow. I decided that's not right. It shouldn't be square, the wings. So I bought a book of fish, and I bought a book of birds, and then used the fastest bird connected it with the fastest fish, and I drew it together and showed it to Howard Hughes, and they said, "You're a genius." And
you did?
Yeah.
She invented, during that period, a tablet that would fizz up and make a cola.
I had two chemists Howard Hughes gave me to do that. During the war, nobody had Coca-Cola, and I wanted to compress it into a tube so that servicemen and factory people, all they had to have is water and put it in.
During the Second World War, there was this chokehold around England of Nazi U-boats, and it felt like it was the end of the war. It felt like it was the turning point, and the Nazis were going to win because we couldn't get any supplies to England.
Jamming.
Nazi submarines kept eluding the Allies' attacks because the Germans were very good at hacking or jamming the radio signals that guided the Allies' torpedoes.
What Hedy Lamarr came up with was a radio signal between a ship and a torpedo that couldn't be hacked, that couldn't be jammed.
Rather than sending radio communications on just one frequency, as was normally done, Lamarr came up with the idea of making the signal leap from frequency to frequency.
Frequency hopping. You couldn't jam it because you'd only jam a split second of it in a single frequency.
So frequency change, frequency hop, frequency hop, frequency hop.
That concept, secure radio communications, was brilliant.
And that basic idea of frequency hopping became part of what's known as spread spectrum. Spread spectrum is what's in all of our technology today. I mean, Bluetooth is probably the most purely similar to what Hedy Lamarr invented, and Wi-Fi too. But spread spectrum is in a huge amount of inventions that we use on a daily basis.
Lamarr had a patent on the technology, but it was confiscated because she was an Austrian immigrant and considered an enemy alien. She was never compensated for her invention, which the film estimates to be worth around $30 billion today.